my friend.
In this video we'll be talking about difference between 32-bit and 64-bit operating system. Not surprisingly, many users still don't know the difference between a 32-bit and a 64-bit operating system. It usually pertains to our personal computer's operating system, and we all know that sooner or later it will require troubleshooting and management. With the advancement of technology, a little knowledge will help you understand today's and tomorrow's operating systems. So what is a bit? The smallest piece of data in a computer is known as a bit or binary digit. A computer only understands binary language, so every bit can have just one binary value, either 0 or 1. In computing, there exist two types of processors, 32-bit and 64-bit. These processors tell us how much memory a processor can have access from a CPU register. A 32-bit system can access 2 raised to power 32 memory addresses, that is 4 gigabytes of random access memory or RAM. A 64-bit system can access 2 raised to power 64 memory addresses, that is actually 18 billion gigabytes of RAM.
Oh my god!
In short, any amount of memory greater than 4 gigabytes can be easily handled by it. Even though a 64-bit operating system will have almost unlimited addressable space, there will still be a limit on how much memory it can fully utilize. That limit will then depend on what OS you're using in its version. Difference between 32-bit processors and 64-bit processors is the number of calculations per second they can perform, which affects the speed at which they can complete tasks. 64-bit processors can come in dual-core, quad-core, 6-core, and 8-core versions. Multiple cores allow for an increased number of calculations per second that can be performed, which can increase the processing power and help make a computer run faster. Software programs that require many calculations to function smoothly can operate faster and more efficiently on the multi-core 64-bit processors. There are some notable differences between a 32-bit and a 64-bit operating system considering usage and performance. Starting with its performance, a 64-bit OS would be faster and more reliable. Since a 64-bit operating system can contain more RAM than 32-bit operating system, heavy applications like Photoshop can run much faster, especially when you have more than 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now for usage, 64-bit will again get the upper hand since most 32-bit applications can run with a 64-bit OS, while all 64-bit applications won't run on a 32-bit OS. A good example of a 32-bit application that isn't compatible would be your antivirus software. Due to its encryption, it simply won't run and so will need a 64-bit equivalent.